Hi everyone and welcome to this week's WARNO Dev Blog. Today it is the second LANNES reveal, showing off the 35th Guards Air Assault Brigade. Obviously last week we had the US 82nd Airborne Division details, which you can see in the previous video on the channel. So first we get a little bit of background on who LANNES was, since we didn't last time. In our excitement to talk about the new American paratroopers, we kind of forgot to tell you about the origin of the name LANNES. Of course, we are talking about the early 19th century marshal of the French Empire, Jean LANNES. A personal friend of Napoleon and one of the youngest marshals, he was considered one of the most daring and talented generals. Napoleon couldn't resist highlighting his own influence when saying, "I found him a pygmy and left him a giant." Having risen multiple times in the ranks, including in the campaigns in Italy and Egypt, as well as briefly falling out of Napoleon's grace, LANNES rose once more to prominence during the Napoleonic Wars. He fought and commanded with distinction during the battles of Austerlitz, Saalfeld, still studied today by the French Staff College, and Jena and grueling siege of Zaragoza. However, during the Battle of Aspern-Eisling in 1809, LANNES was hit by a ricocheted cannonball at the very end of the battle, and though immediately treated with one leg amputated, the injuries proved too grave and LANNES died 8 days later. The first Napoleonic marshal to fall in battle, a battlefield end to a truly military commander. So, moving on to the 35th Air Assault Brigade. I'm not even going to try and pronounce its Russian title. But it was the 111th Guards Airborne Regiment, itself part of the 11th Guards Airborne Division. This latter regiment was only turned into the 39th Guards Air Assault in 1979 when the parent division was disbanded and its constituent regiments became independent brigades. The lineage of the brigade can be traced back to the 1940s when the 111th Guards Airborne Regiment was first founded, and in the 1960s it trained extensively for mountain warfare and was for several years stationed in Turkestan Military District, near Uzbekistan's external border. In 1979, the division and regiment were briefly located in Bagram, Afghanistan, a mere 3 months before the official Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in December 1979. As mentioned above, in the fall of 1979, the 11th Guards Airborne Division was disbanded, and the 111th Guards Airborne Regiment became the 39th Guards Air Assault, which was then sent to East Germany. In Europe, the 39th Guards Air Assault was a mix of parachutist and air assault division. As such, in WARNO, some of the division's units will feature forward deployment mechanic, as noted in last week's dev blog. So what new units and equipment will we be getting in LANNES? As mentioned, one of the main features of the 39th Guards Air Assault is a mix of parachute and heliborne units. In WARNO, this means that the regular Desantniki, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but basically the parachute ones will be able to forward deploy. Heliborne Desantniki will not, having to arrive from the rear with the Mi-2 and Mi-8T. Spetsnaz forces combat ready, not recon, already featured as the Spetsnaz grew, will also be deployable. Another unique feature of the Soviet airborne forces is that they jump in with their specialized lightly armored vehicles, which are based on two types, the BMD and the BTRD. The BMD-1 and BMD-2 are basically the BMP-1 and BMP-2, but with less armor and no organic ATGM loadout. They retain the same guns as their heavier counterparts, and as an infantry fighting vehicle, they will be available in forward deployment for the Desantniki Mech Squad and the Leader variants. Other parachute Desantniki will be deployed via the UAZ Jeep or the lighter GAZ-66 paratruck transports. The BMD will also feature as a turretless command vehicle. The BTRD is another paradrop only vehicle coming in several variants. The BTRD is a lightly armed APC with MGs and an AGS-17 grenade launcher. The BTRD robot is an APC armed with Conker's launcher, doubling as a transport for an anti-tank team. And the BTR-ZD Skrezet is an APC armed with twin 23mm ZU-23-2 anti-air guns strapped to the roof, both acting as light spag and also transport for a manpad team. But that is not all we're getting. Let's continue on to some heavier weapons, including artillery and tanks. Mostly artillery available to the formation is towed. This includes the 2B9 Vasilek automatic mortar, a short-range weapon that doubles as a super heavy quick-firing grenade launcher, basically acting as a fire support vehicle. and it can even direct fire. There is also the 2S12 120mm mortar. Both weapon systems can forward deploy. The division will have access to the D20 120mm howitzer. Other artillery vehicles include the 2S9 Nona self-propelled 120mm mortar direct support vehicle with the mortar in a turret on the BTRD hull. The BM-21V Grad 5 MLRS, a lighter multiple rocket launcher with fewer tubes, is also featured. Tank support was light for the 39th Guards Air Assault. The Soviets didn't have access to a vehicle such as the 82nd Airborne Sheridan. The organic tank weapons available to the division are the BRDM-2 Konkurs, as well as Para, a forward deployable UAZ and Konkurs team, and the D44 85mm anti-tank gun. Like the 82nd Airborne, some additional armor will be attached to the 39th Guards Air Assault, courtesy of the 8th Guards Army's Organic Recon Battalion. They will bring few, usually one card of each, T-80B, BRDM-2 Strela 1 and BRM-1. Their recon units will include the Desant Razvedka. You can also call on the Spetsnaz GRU. AA support is somewhat lackluster compared to other Soviet divisions. At the very least, you can deploy the Desant Igla teams, as well as both towed and truck-mounted twin 23mm Zu-23-2 anti-air guns. All will feature forward deployment. So last but certainly not least, what can this division bring to the skies? Aside from the usual wide assortment of Mi-8 and Mi-24 helicopters, the 39th Guards Air Assault will deploy some of the rare KA-50s. Yes, and the crowd will go wild. This attack helicopter numbered only 6 examples in active testing in 1989 in real life. But early production was ramping up, and within the time frame of our invasion, a limited amount would have been available to the Warsaw Pact forces. The KA-50 is armed with a 30mm autocannon, 4 Igla anti-aircraft missiles, and 12, that's right, 12 Vikhir anti-tank missiles, basically a Soviet Apache. Recon helicopters such as the heavy-duty Mi-24K will also be available. Other air support units include the already featured MiG-23ML fighter and plenty of new ones, the MiG-27 bomber in 3 different loadouts, bombs and rockets, the Sovet and ace-looking MiG-29 fighter currently only present in the NVA division, the MiG-25BM seedplane and the MiG-25 RBF bombers. And that is everything for this week. Obviously, again, we are seeing a lot of stuff that's going to be forward deployable, including now mortars and such the like, which begs the question, have they also adjusted artillery and mortars damage and things like that? Question mark on that. We know that the strike team now have access to this update because it was all updated on the Steam database, so waiting to see what they show us when they are allowed to put that out. But thanks for watching again, everyone. That's it for this week. Please do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon for some more Warno.